This week on the Game Marks podcast, we are doing our squats and pull-ups as we roll it back to 1989 and play the NES classic Tecmo World Wrestling. How does this game compare to pro wrestling for the NES? Will we play it forever? Woo! Or future endeavor?
You're fired!
All this plus Clash at the Feast. Plug in, put on those nostalgia goggles because this week's Game Marks podcast starts now.
And now, the game.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast. I'm the man they call Johnny Clash.
All right, I got a new moniker. It's a rip on Rick Rude. And I am the sussiest man alive.
Oh boy.
George Feis.
Oh boy.
This week, we are playing Tecmo World Wrestling.
And as always, we'd love to hear from you guys. So please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and make sure to subscribe and rate this podcast wherever you choose to listen. And join the conversation on social media at Game Marks Pod. George, what's chapping your ass today? How are you?
You, as always, consistently. But last week, we played Fire Pro Wrestling Z. And, aside from knowing how your week went and how you're doing, I also am going to ask you, are you going to keep playing this game? Are you changing your mind? Are you flip-flopping?
Nope, I'm sticking with the future endeavor just for the reason of a future endeavor Fire Pro returns, and if this came up, I would still play it, but I don't know, just not a play it forever for me. I guess I liked playing it with you, but I wouldn't play it on my own. But one of our followers, AKI Club 64, they are the official fan account for the AKI games, and they told us it was meant to be the last Fire Pro game, but it didn't have the same impact that D had for the Dreamcast. I also remember the 5-star frog splash didn't cause a critical, and the opponent would get up before the guy hitting the move got up. So there you have it. This was meant to be the last Fire Pro game.
Now that's interesting, considering the fact that last week we talked about how, what was it? There's like almost 40 games, and then this was meant to be the last one?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's crazy. And then you get no New Japan, official release in Fire Pro World. You don't get the crazy expansion. The roster just keeps getting bigger.
Okay. Speaking of the roster, George, I used my entire lung capacity last week. I used all of my wind in my sails to read the 250. You helped a little bit. The 250 name roster.
We split it.
We split it. I think I got a little bit more. But the whole thing was once again cut out. The whole thing was glitched. I don't know what it's saying. I don't know if it's you screwing with me when you put the artwork in when I upload the episode, but we have to figure this out because now the roster's not in, and it won't go in last week's episode, so I put it up on our website under Clash and Burn, so if you want to read the roster, check it out, but we just wasted a lot of our breath reading it because what is this
scratchy
glitch?
throat because of that.
What is this glitch that's happening? What does it say?
Did you change the program that you mix everything down in? Is it
been doing everything exactly the same since day one?
I don't get it.
I don't know. We have to. If anyone knows what it's saying, can you help us out? Tweet us, let us know, because I can't kind of decipher it. It seems like eat hay. I don't know.
The glitching sounds, I immediately just take my headphones out and then
I'm afraid to go into
it hurts my ears.
Conversation because I'm afraid it's just going to get scrapped again. But anyway, on to a lighter note, our free giveaway for Steel Cage Challenge has come to an end. You don't have to hear me complaining about it anymore. So guys, we have a winner, and the winner is George. You made fun of my drum roll last time. Can you give me a drum roll? A proper drummer's drum roll?
Why don't you just put one in?
Oh, you hear that, folks?
Here.
He's going to make fun of my drum roll Or he himself, the drummer, with the guy with the
so-
drum set behind him as we record this. The winner is Jim Hayes, the man with the plan at Big Jimbo Extreme. His review says, now, this is wrestling talk. You can stop, George. I'm new to the podcast.
No, I'm just going to keep going the whole time. This is your background music. And I'm going to talk while I'm doing it, so you get this wonderful...
Great. I'm new to this podcast, but so far, so great. If you're a huge wrestling fan and enjoy talking, listening about the topic at hand, this podcast will fill that need. Looking forward to future episodes. So congratulations, Jim Hayes. I'm going to be reaching out to get your address, and I'm going to send this thing out to you ASAP.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I'm also glad that we don't have to listen to Clash yell at people about Steel Cage Challenge anymore. But we also introduced our very own official Game Marks Pod Discord server. And I gotta tell you, the conversation, like the games that have been happening in there, it's way better than I thought it was going to be, only having it for 2 weeks. Like the constant conversations going on there, a lot of debates talking about everything from video games to wrestling to music. There's like hilarious wrestling memes in there. Like I was not expecting the turnout that we got, and I'm very, very excited to see what the future holds for that Discord. So we're going to start planning some game nights, and there may be even some spontaneous things where, you know, either myself or Johnny will go live and we'll either play some Among Us or just have random, you know, Johnny's going to play Warzone and needs like 1 or 2 fills.
Ooh, I almost did that the other day. I almost hit up the Discord, but then someone jumped on. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. I like a lot of conversation. We've got some weird questions. Would you rather?
Yeah.
What was that one? Would you rather have accordions for legs or can't tell the difference between muffins and babies?
Yes, that was
one of the weirdest questions I've ever heard in my life.
But you know,
it sparked a great conversation of funny wrestling moments with accordion legs. So
yeah, I still think my favorite was imagining someone doing sweet chin music, like the "I'm Sorry I Love You" with accordion legs.
Thank you. That was mine. Better. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was funny. I laughed like out loud. But you know what? On a more serious note, today is the day. Johnny, what is today?
Today starts the 2020 Gameboree, guys. Last year, we raised over $800 to give to St. Jude's. We brought games to Cohen's Children's Medical Center, and this year we want to make it bigger. We want to make it better. So check out our post, and we are going to tell you all about it right now. The Game Marks podcast are once again teaming with 2 tremendous charities to make the holiday season special for all. This year we have 2 ways to donate, with a ton of giveaways and prizes for those who do. So first, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital starts today, and this is going to go till January 1st. So donate to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital on our Facebook page, and you will be entered to win the prizes that George is going to tell you about. Now, these come in tiers, so every increment that we hit, a random donor will get one of these prizes, just like last year. George, take it away.
All right, so your donation tiers are as follows. For $50, every donor's name goes on our website. At $100, 2 donators will get a pack of VGF Gamers Pro Touch analog grips for their controllers. At $200, $300, and $400, we are releasing a Game Marks prize pack, which includes t-shirts, grips, an 8x10, and maybe a little bit more. At $500, we are doing 2 VGF Gamers Pro Flex controller grips for 2 donors. At $750, you get WWE Battlegrounds for the console of your choosing. At $1,000, the Game Wives have their own episode. And at $5,000, Johnny and myself will be getting that wonderful GMP mask tattooed somewhere on our bodies. And with that, I'm throwing it back to Joe.
Oh, baby. All right, now Cohen's Children's Medical Center starts today, and we're going to end this one on December 18th because these will be actual physical gifts that we are going to give the hospital. And this is a $10 50/50 raffle that's going to be sold on our website at gamemarkspod.com/donate. And George is going to take you through the rules of those as well.
All right, so the rules for the 50/50 raffle. You can buy as many raffle tickets as you like. Every $10 donation counts as a single entry. The winner gets half the funds at the end of the raffle, and the other half will be going towards buying games and consoles for Cohen's Children's Medical Center. And the winner will be announced on the December 21st episode.
All right, so we're going to go on a little shopping spree. Now, last year we were able to pick up, I think it was around 30 or so games, and the hospitals, they're a little outdated. They have Xbox 360s, They have PlayStation 3s. They have maybe, they said, one or two like PS4s, Xbox Ones, but not all the kids can play with those, obviously, because can't be on top of each other, especially now. They can't be on top of each other. They have a few Switches. Maybe we can get them consoles. Maybe we can get them more games. So $10 will get you in, and the more you spend, the more chances you have to split the difference and win the prize. And there's more information and links to donate on our website at gamemarkspod.com/donate. So happy donating, and we hope to bring joy to many children this season.
Let's go bigger and better than last year.
Now up next, some gaming news.
Are you looking to get a better grip on life? How about your video games? Well, VGF Gamers are the largest silicone gaming brand in the USA. They have a variety of different and unique skins for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controllers and consoles. Check out their products at vgfgamers.com and use code GameMarks to receive 15% off your order at checkout. That's GAMEMARKS at checkout. VGF Gamers. Better grip, better style.
2K and Cat Daddy Games have revealed what fans can look forward to when Season 7 of WWE Supercard launches later this year. The newest edition will hit sometime in November and will be a free update across the board. When it does hit, fans will see a more strategic depth added to the game, as well as 3 new card tiers, 200 new cards, super moves, and new ways to earn cards and battle with other players, including the addition of a War Games event. Gotham Knights will take fans to the world where Batman is dead, and it's up to 4 of his allies to keep the city safe and figure out what ultimately happened to their mentor. One of those heroes is Tim Drake, aka Robin, and he'll be getting a big costume update. WB Montreal has released a full character breakdown which includes details on several of the costume elements and a look at his overall character model, and the most notable thing is he's missing his cape. However, in its place is a red and black windbreaker. And as the description states, it's a breathable jacket that is made to move with him as he uses his trademark bow staff. It does still feature the familiar Robin symbol on it with a few yellow accents. Wow. Now, Halo Infinite's troubled development for Xbox continues with a brand new report bringing more bad news to Xbox players. According to a new report, Chris Lee has left 343 Industries, becoming the latest lead on the game to leave it, and 343 Industries behind mid-development. Chris Lee, the game's project director, becomes the second top director to leave behind the game in 2 years, hinting that previous rumors and reports about the game's troubled development are true. And that's all the gaming news this week. Check back next week.
Ooh, so some Halo news, some Gotham Knights news. I mean, how you feel about Halo?
I mean, I'm not going to get Halo, so it doesn't affect me, but that's rough. For one of the most storied franchises, that's whew, I don't know.
That's a big hit.
Do you play Supercard at all?
I used to. I played it when it first came out, and it just became a little bit too repetitive, I guess is the word. And like,
Yeah,
I
agree.
I mean, the idea of the game and like, you know, my, the person who actually got me into wrestling is, my older cousin. And when he was young, that's what he actually used to use as his wrestling figures, was the wrestling trading cards, which I'm sure a lot of people did. And so when this game came out, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is exactly what my cousin used to tell me he did when he was a kid. Like,
yeah,
it was a cool concept, but I feel like they needed a little bit more. And honestly, hopefully this War Games event adds a little bit more like replayability and kind of refreshes the game. I'm definitely going to have to go check it out.
I think I'm going to reinstall it. I don't think I've ever had it on this phone, but a few years ago I actually got pretty decent at it, and then like you said, it's just repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's definitely a point where we're going to have to start hopping into some of those actual official mobile games. Maybe sooner than later.
Maybe, but George, is it time?
I think it's time. Let's do the question of the week.
Game marks while you sit there, hopefully as uncomfortable as you possibly can be. I want you to listen to me. I want you to digest this because I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I don't hate you, Marks, but the Game Marks podcast have their own pro wrestling tee store. Brace yourself because the Game Marks podcast are now on Pro Wrestling Tees with original design to let everyone know if you will play it forever or a future endeavor. Head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod and get your tees today. Hey Nick Stapp, how you doing?
Okay. Last week I asked, what is your favorite wrestling finisher? And then the social graphic that Johnny made kind of spun it in a different way, which actually I think was even cooler. What was your go-to finisher in Create a Wrestler? I just was asking broad statement in wrestling, but that's actually even better. But we got some answers. First, starting with Tyler Stevens at Mr. Bad Idea says, for my Create a Wrestler No Mercy, I use the Roaring Elbow. Ever since I saw Masato Tanaka use it against Mike Awesome, I thought it was seriously badass. As for actual special move, Burning Hammer was legit. So, someone agreed with me, and the Roaring Elbow is devastating.
Now, Brett Van at Brett Va says, the Diamond Cutter, all day, every day. In No Mercy, I always use the Flatliner and Downward Spiral. So I agree there. I think we got 1-1 each. Are we? If we're keeping score, I mean,
yeah. Well,
I love that, like RKO, Diamond Cutter-y.
Well, I was going to say the debate. Now I'm going to start another debate, I'm sure. But RKO or Diamond Cutter, big setup or out of nowhere?
The Diamond Cutter, I think, was like too calculated. It was cool then, but then like the RKO just took it to the next level.
Yeah, I think. Like exactly like you said, that DDP used it in a way where it could, you know, and very much did in matches come out of nowhere. But RKO really, you know, they branded that as, you know, it literally can come out of nowhere and then made it happen.
Yeah, one of the best moves ever.
And the Allison Becker of Fig Collecting at Hank503. Says, gotta agree with Will is ballin' on this one. The Steiner screwdriver with the Burning Hammer as a close second.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, you brought up Burning Hammer, and I guess everyone agrees with you.
I mean, you said it looks like it kills the person, and having taken one, you said that it feels like it would kill someone. So, but this week it is your turn to ask the question. So fire away, Johnny.
All right. So this one sparked my brain when I was typing up about the Supercard update and War Games. So I think we've had questions like this around Survivor Series time, but I want to ask you a little differently. Since I'm the heel of the pod, you're the babyface of the pod. So you say.
You literally
just
said it. I've never said it.
I want you to come up with your babyface team for War Games, and I'll come up with my heel team for War Games.
Is there a roster limitation? Are we only doing WWE? WWE?
Anyone in history.
Ooh. All right. Take a look at the old DTOF behind me, see what we got in there. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. You got to have, and this may throw a wrench into your plans here. Okay, so my team of 5 will go as follows. Going to have Hogan and Macho.
Now, which Hogan and which Macho?
So I'm. You said it's the face, so I'm going. I'm going red and yellow Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say like, I guess like purple star trunks.
Okay.
I don't know, like like face, not Macho King. Like the good portion of Mega Powers, like just on the cusp of that being a thing. So in addition to those guys, I think I might throw in we'll get Taker in on there, but we're gonna go you know what? We're going to go American Badass Undertaker.
Nice.
And then we will get See, now I'm doing this stupid thing where I'm trying to like book this in my head, where I'm like getting like ideas of like what they could do for the story, and I'm like, ooh, I'll put Mick Foley in there, but then like for the War Games match, he comes out as Cactus Jack. But yeah, we'll throw Cactus Jack in there.
Okay.
And then my last one. This is a tough one. You know what? I'm going to throw John Cena in there.
All right. Why not? All right. So, are you ready for mine?
I am. I feel like I already know the first like 2 people.
All right, we're going Sting, Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, Booker T, and Scott Steiner, the main event mafia. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's all I want. And as always, we throw it to you guys. You could choose heel, face, both, whichever one you want. Let us know your dream all-time War Games match.
I want to see that match now. I'm just letting you know.
We could try to figure this match out on like 2K. I'll say 2K16 or something, not 20.
We could play 20, but
we'll figure it out.
All right, Johnny, what do you say we do our hashtag deep dive?
I'm ready to take the plunge. Let's go, baby.
What's up, Game Marks Podcast? This is Danny Tancredi, and I'm here with my brother Johnny Tancredi, and together we are the Caught Looking Podcast. Each week we bring to you the latest news and reviews on all things baseball collectibles. From baseball cards and memorabilia to bobbleheads and stadium giveaways, each episode will discuss the newest products to hit the shelves of your local card store and your favorite ballparks around the country. Be sure to be following us on Instagram at The Caught Looking Podcast and on Twitter at CaughtLookingBB. New episodes drop every Friday, so be sure to tune in wherever great podcasts like this one are available. The Caught Looking Podcast. Don't get caught looking, start collecting.
So, Tecmo World Wrestling, released September 1st, 1989 in Japan, and April 1990 in the USA. For the Famicom and the Nintendo Entertainment System, published and developed by Tecmo. Big surprise there. Now, this game's gameplay is extremely similar to pro wrestling, but had a much bigger, and I think that we can both attest to this, the variety of moves and the amount, how big this roster is, was the big thing that stood out. I mean, within the first 5 seconds of the match that we had, or the matches that we had, I think it was the first match that we played, I picked you up for a big swing, and you were gone. Like, you were out of the ring.
Right out of the ring. Yeah, even like the jumping moves, like when the guy's on the ground, the top rope moves, it kind of looked like I landed like a swanton bomb. It was nuts. Definitely a lot to these sprite animations.
Yeah, and something that was very prominently featured in this game and not so much in pro wrestling and other games around this time is you have a health bar. So I do a move to you, you do a move to me, you know exactly how much damage it does, and by doing moves, grappling moves specifically, you actually can gain health back, which is a cool feature, and it's not normally the, I guess we'll call it like the rest mechanic that you see in a lot of games from around this time, whereas just like, if you're not doing anything and you're not giving or receiving a move, your health just kind of increases. We saw that in tag team wrestling, which is like, you know, if you just didn't move and no one was doing anything, your health bar just went right back up. Or if you were on the apron, your health bar just went right back up.
Yeah, and in Japan, this game was known as Gekitu Pro Wrestling Tokan Detsutsu, which means Intense Pro Wrestling Legend of the Fighting Spirit. Imagine that. That's actually a pretty cool name.
That's pretty badass. Now, Johnny was able to have this happen to me a couple of times, and I'm a big fan of when games do this. We've seen it in a couple of the titles that we've played that are from this era. But there is a very wonderful, and we're going to call it a unique feature where certain moves are designated as finisher moves, and if done while the opponent is at low health, it triggers a wonderful little cutscene animation. Johnny, I believe you did that with a Northern Lights suplex.
It was pretty. It made it look devastating and just pretty by adding this cutscene. We saw this in one of the old New Japan or All Japan games, I believe.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
It was definitely interesting. Now,
it's also similar to what they do in the Ninja Gaiden titles, like earlier in NES.
Now, did you play any of the Ninja Gaiden games?
No. When it came to Tecmo, I was a Tecmo Bowl guy.
Yeah, I feel like most people were.
Yeah. Great game.
Oh, yeah. Now, I love when games do this. I wish more games had this. I understand the need for it not to be so prominent like this, but there's just something about having the play-by-play announcer on screen at all times, giving
Tom
wonderful
Tucker
text play-by-play.
He calls the action on the fly. It scrolls onto the bottom. It's a little repetitive, but then again, you're not reading the whole thing while you're in the match. That's a little distracting. I think I did get caught reading it sometimes, and then I'd be like, oh crap, I got to kick out. It was pretty cool though. Similar to what we saw in Micro League Wrestling on the Commodore. Check it out in our archives. But it's just, a way to get an announcer in there. It's also dead space in the game that what else would be on the bottom of the screen. You know?
Could just, I guess if you didn't take up that real estate, you could have probably rendered everything a little bigger, but that's nitpicking.
I liked it. I like Tom Tucker.
Yeah. So, like most games from this time, there is a single player mode in which your character fights the entire rest of the roster, and there is the big bad at the end of the game, and the final boss of this game is the Earl of Doom, Blue King.
Ooh.
Now, similarly to pro wrestling, Blue King is an unplayable character who could do every character's moves. Now, Johnny, your favorite part, and this is the part that you told me that you were most excited for me to experience, in between your matches, you can, I guess, power up or boost, very, very similar to like what you do in the UFC games, where you can do like training camps and stuff like that. But in this game, you can do squats, sit-ups, push-ups, and this all boosts your character's strength.
That was pretty cool, and that's actually exactly what I was thinking. I was like, wow, this is kind of like the modern games. Like, you go through the locker room, maybe you want to like work on your charisma or whatever, but like it's just strength. You do squats. You have like this little blonde trainer, and after you're done with your strength exercise, she just says, "Go get him, big boy," which was pretty funny.
I feel like we're heading in a bad direction here, so we're just gonna skip past that because I don't know what Johnny's gonna say next, and I just wanted
prude little Georgie.
No, this is trying to make it a family-friendly show. There is also a 2-player mode, which the entire roster is available with the exception of Blue King, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You just beat each other up. It is the mode that Johnny and I played the most, and yeah.
It keeps
Great
your
fun.
win-loss record, too, which is kind of cool. So if you go back and pick a different person, then go back to the other person, it'll say 1 loss, 1 win. So it does keep track for you, which was easy for Clash at the Feast.
Yeah. Now, Johnny, you want to rock, paper, scissors for the roster this week?
I'll do it.
All right, that's fine.
Now, each of these characters also have a nickname. So we have Akira Dragon the Samurai, El Tigre the Striker, Pat Gordon the Greek Warrior, Rex Beat the British Star, Jackie Lee the Kung Fu Master, Boris Chekhov the Siberian Machine, Mark Rose Mr. Tattoo, Julio Falcon Iguana Man, Randy Gomez the Flying Hand Grenade, I like that one, Dr. Gildo the Technician, and, as we said earlier, the Boss, Blue King the Earl of Doom.
I feel like more games need to have original rosters with like fun nicknames like this. I feel like that's like a lost art.
Maybe Virtual Basement will do something like that when we see their game come out in 2025.
All right, so Johnny, what do you say we hop in and talk about some of these character models and the art style overall of this game, because this is a different one.
Very similar to pro wrestling, but to me, the dimensions of like the ring look a lot better. The colors look brighter, and the sprites themselves look, they're jacked, they're tan. You could tell who is actually in the ring with the mask, different colored trunks, but the crowd is actually almost, I would say, identical to the pro wrestling crowd, which is kind of funny. I'm that stickler for the crowd, but everything from outside of the ring to the aprons to the ring ropes to your training sessions just looks
the
really
training room
cool.
is great.
Yeah, it's like a full-fledged gym. The proportions are a little off, like that bench press that you sit on just looks like a doctor's table, but it's fine. Whatever gets the job done. One of my favorite things was in the middle of your one-on-one matches when you're going through, I guess you could call it the story or the tournament. It actually has like a little cutscene of the crowd, like from the rafters. Like it looks like a full crowd with the ring. It says, "We have been bringing to you live from the Tecmo Coliseum Arena, the death match of the century." Now, no, there are not actual death matches in this game, but you try telling that to Tom Talker.
Tom Talker.
What do you think about all this?
So it is, I think the one thing that annoyed me the most about this game, and this is like really just me nitpicking, and I understand that there's color and sprite limitations, but there were so many points where like we were battling and like fighting in a corner, and I would have you in a submission or you would have me in a submission, and your character kind of gets lost in the flooring on the outside. Like,
oh yeah, it's the same color as you.
The tan characters are the exact same shade as the floor, which either says a lot about the floor or a lot about the characters. I don't know.
Tom Talker's the same color, and he's wearing his little Hollister polo too. So
yeah, and like I get it. There's only a certain amount of colors that you can use on the console, but maybe just like pick a different color for the floor. I don't know. It's just me nitpicking. Sprites are great. I thought they were very, very nice. The animations are also super, super cool. Johnny picked a wrestler that had this like very aggressive pinning power slam, and it looked
Boris Chekhov, the Siberian Machine.
It was good. It looked like, and you attest to that as the wrestling expert on this show. Like it looked accurate.
It looked. Every move I thought looked really cool. It was a little odd to get into the grapple moves, I thought. There was a lot of times you would just hit me with a kick in the shin and like my guy would just go straight down, and that was a little weird. The mechanics were just a little off. I thought the grapples themselves were kind of random, I guess. It's not like Fire Pro where when you're in that certain proximity, you just lock up. It was, I don't know. I don't think I ever figured out when the grapple actually happens. Also,
did we touch
on
the mechanic of the training session and how it's just a button mash?
Yeah, literally just a button mash. It'll tell you to do
regardless
squats
of what
and
you do. Just you have sit-ups, squats, push-ups, button mash.
But you're timed, so you have 6 seconds to do it or so, or maybe 10.
I think it's 10.
there's that meter on the bottom. I don't know if we figured out exactly what it does, but it bounces back and forth the whole game when you're in 2-player mode. We kind of thought that when it's on your side, that's when you'll hit the move if you hit it correctly. But I think we were so aggressively button mashing trying to beat each other that we didn't let that settle in and try to actually use strategy.
No, we very rarely do we do that. We're very bad at that. We're always just like, oh, it's a button match. Let's go.
Yeah. Just no strategy. We just wanted to kill each other.
Yeah. But with that, continuing on the talk of artwork and graphic style, this cover. So this game has 2 different covers. So there is the Tecmo World Wrestling, which is exactly what you would expect from a normal NES cover. On the front cover, you have who I am going to assume to be Akira Dragon fighting against Rex Beat, who is that, what did you call him before, Johnny? It's the combination Legion of Doom. Yeah,
it's like, we mentioned this a few weeks ago. There's always a rip-off Road Warrior in every game.
It's like
the way it is.
The Legion of Demolition. Is that what we're calling it?
Pretty much. This cover actually reminded me of the Wrestle War cover that we covered. How many times can I say cover in that sentence? That we have available in the archives. Same art style, which is a typical old Nintendo art style, I'd say. But Tecmo Bowl. Do you remember that cover?
I do.
It was just a football player, but like a very close-up, like looking...
Yeah.
Like aggressive, right? Yeah, that was cool. That was a real football player, though. However, this is a more illustrated style. I like it, though. You know what I'm going to say with every wrestling art. If it looks like a wrestling game, then I'm going to want to play it. Like if I'm a little kid in the store, which this is how I was. I used to go to Tri-County Flea Market with my dad. I would pick out the NES games. They were all just laid out on a table. I'd
Second
be like,
floor.
that one, and that one. I'd get like Blades of Steel, Tecmo Bowl, Double Dribble. So the artwork does, when you're little, it does play a factor.
Now, for those of you who don't know, if you're not in the, I guess, would you say it's big enough for like tri-state area people to come?
It's pretty big. It's the only one I know of in this area.
So Tri-County Flea Market was the flea market. Like if you, like back in the day, if you needed a video game, whether it was old or new, you wanted it secondhand, you needed comic books, action figures, anything. That was the place to go. I believe now the entire or a good portion of the second floor is now that building. There's now that store that we went to as kids to get our action figures and our video games. And I believe now it is actually Video Game Trading Post.
Yeah, I think they have one also still in Tri-County, don't they?
Yeah, that's that whole second floor, I think, is the Trading Post now. Which
is awesome, because I got games from NES all the way up to like Xbox 360 there. That's where we got our Pokemon cards, our wrestling figures.
Oh, yeah.
I think I bought vibrating Kevin Nash there, I want to say. Like stuff like that. Like, so this store goes way back. I haven't been there in years. I actually would like to go check it out, but a friend of mine still goes and he buys autographed like WWE Funko Pops there. He's like, oh, I got a Triple H for $40. You think I could flip it? I'm like, no, because chances are they flipped it and you bought it, so you're probably gonna lose money on that one. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're in the Long Island, I would say even like Queens, New York City area, check out Tri-County. It's a lot. It's like a collector's dream, or if you just want like really fake fur coats.
Yes.
Or like custom t-shirts. But back to this artwork. I want to point out before we get to the back, this blatantly ripped off WrestleMania logo.
Oh yeah, it is. That you can't hide that. There's yeah, it's the colors are just slightly off, but man, it is 100% WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to make a wrestling game, you're going to copy the biggest company that you could make, so.
All right, so why don't you take us through the back cover?
All right, so the back cover. You see 3 screenshots. It says, special bonus offer, collect Tecmo ID badges. Ooh. Now it says, it's your call from the opening bell to the final pin. Select your wrestler and take on any challenge. Every body slam, cobra twist, and pile driver, 2 words, brings you closer to victory.
And a cobra twist is just an abdominal stretch.
Will you be the one receiving the TWW Championship belt?
Ooh. And of course, as usual, we have our 3 screenshots. What tickles me about these screenshots, the shape of them, because obviously back then we didn't have HD TVs that were rectangle. They actually were curved like this. So if you see this back cover, yeah, they're the edges are curved. It looks like an old bulbous TV that I probably still have in my basement somewhere.
Oh yeah. There's something, I know people, especially when they collect like classic systems and stuff, they'll either seek out or keep their old CRT televisions to play so they get the full retro feel. Now, I was just curious, so I Googled what CRT stood for. And I don't know if you knew this, but it stands for cathode ray tube.
Oh.
That's what CRT stands for.
That's what I was about to guess.
Yeah, I know. But I noticed that there's a alternative cover for this one, Johnny. Why don't you talk a little bit about this one?
All right, so I found an alternative Japanese cover for this game with the Japanese Tecmo World Wrestling logo. I'm going to say I don't know if this is official. It has Tom Talker, it has all the characters, it has a crowd, a ring bell, a little TV cameraman. It's very comic book style, and I just can't find if this is actually the Tecmo World Japanese cover. If it is, this is pretty damn cool. We could post this and you guys can decide if there's anyone out there that actually knows for sure, because there's a part of me that would like to get my hands on that if it is.
Oh no, it's right. I found the cartridge for the Famicom.
Okay, George says it's right. So help me find this cartridge.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's an interesting little.
This artwork's way better than the American one. But it's like Wrestle War. Remember we had the fake Hulk Hogan, and then it turned into like the fake Rocky Balboa.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
I mean, I guess I understand it. This is definitely more like that manga style, like you would expect to find in those Japanese comic books and stuff. But I mean, both have their charm. You know, if you're going to release a game in America, you definitely want the Jack Tan wrestlers on the cover, because that's the product that WWE's putting out. You want to
with the fake WrestleMania logo.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. It worked. It's one of probably the better known wrestling games for the NES. But Johnny, I think it's time for a little Did You Know?
Did you know? The Japanese version of this game has some notable differences. It was released a year earlier and has a password feature. The announcer is also different. His name, according to the Japanese manual, is Yasushi Geki. The female personal trainer also sports black hair.
Did you know Tecmo is known for their NES sports games and newer releases like Ninja Gaiden, but they also had released a few other wrestling games such as All Girl Wrestling Ultimate Angels for the Super Famicom in 1989 as well.
Did you know this game is listed on eBay from $5 to $35 with a brand new sealed copy going for $600 and a 9.0 graded copy for $917?
That's a lot of money.
Are you a grader?
No, I don't. No. I don't buy the graded copies. Give me a loose cartridge and.
Like, would you get something graded?
I mean, if I had something. So I'm a loosey collector. So like all of my N64 cartridges are either the ones that I had as a child that still work, or I bought them like secondhand off of eBay. I haven't bought a brand new cartridge in like since the N64 was a console. Like I could see the appeal, like if you're gonna buy something brand new and it's mint and like you're an in-box game collector where you have like the one that you bought for $12 on eBay that's just the cartridge and you want to have like a display piece that you're gonna put in a case, and like I get that. Get those graded. They could probably be worth a lot of money, as we're seeing here with some going for, you know, almost $1,000. But me personally, never got into the whole grading thing. It's, you know, my pockets aren't that deep.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to actually devalue some stuff I have. Like, I have a Derek Jeter autograph that I got when I was little. It was this really, I don't know if you'd call it a freak accident. I don't know if you'd call it luck, but I wrote to him when I was younger and I got a Derek Jeter card mailed back to me from like Yankee Stadium. And it's been in a glass case ever since I got it. Here's the thing. Do I know if it's real? I don't. I don't know if some intern signed it. So part of me doesn't want to grade it for that reason. Second part of me, it was written in pen. It's his identical autograph, so I'm like 99% sure it's him. But all these years, even though it's been in glass, it's faded. So you could hardly read the autograph. So if I'm going to get this thing graded, what's it going to be, like a 4.2? I don't know. Like, I don't want to devalue this stuff in my brain. And then, like, I have a lot of, say, like, wrestling elites signed. I don't want to get that graded and then be like, oh, well, the corner's got a little crease on it. Yeah, but the autograph is freaking okay, so who cares?
Yeah.
So for me, maybe to buy, I would buy something graded to know that it's perfect, but to grade something I own or have owned for a long time, no thanks.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear everyone's opinion on that, to be honest.
I totally get that.
But with that, George, you want some R&R?
Yes, Johnny. I'm feeling a little stressed here. Give me some R&R.
Okay, so as usual, this is a game from 1989, 1990, so what I found was the game FAQ user ratings. So, out of 101 ratings, the average user gives this game a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which isn't that bad. Considering that this gets graded now rather than in 1990. The difficulty level is a 3 out of 5, and the longevity of actually playing the game is a 2 out of 5, with people playing up to 8 hours. Which isn't that bad. That's definitely putting some time into here.
Yeah. All right, Johnny Clash. Do you think it's about that time?
What time?
I think it's time to rate the game.
The game!
All right, Johnny Clash. Tecmo World Wrestling. Will you play it forever? Woo! Or future endeavor?
You're fired!
Oh, man. Okay. As a kid that didn't play this game, actually a lot of people told, like when we posted this, were like, this was my favorite game. I can't wait for this episode. I love this game, everything about it. I personally think this was better than Pro Wrestling. Just for the reasons we said, more moves, more sprites, more characters. It had something that resembled, I would say, a story mode, even though it's not a story mode. But it's got the remnants, you know, like early remnants. The multiplayer was fun. I think I'm going to say play it forever.
Woo! All right.
And George, what about you?
All right. See, there's the thing. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm going to go long-winded, and I don't want to be that guy that goes long-winded, but I'm just going to say there wasn't really a lot to nitpick about this game. Like I said, the only thing that I was kind of like, ugh, so annoying, was the fact that you kind of lost your wrestler at some point in the floor, but like animations were great. The graphics were great. The colors, aside from that one thing, were great. The whole presentation of it was great. So I think I'm gonna join you and I'm gonna say play it forever. Woo!
Okay. Man, we've liked a lot of games this year rather than last year. I'll say that. So good job.
Hey, you know what? Be more positive.
All right, Georgie. So how about it's time for a little Clash at the Feast action?
Let's do it.
All right, Georgie. Take us through Clash at the Feast.
This was an interesting one. As we're doing now, we do our best of 3 series where it's a best 2 out of 3 falls, and this was a good one. First match, Johnny picked El Tigre and I picked Rex Beat. And it was a good back and forth until all of a sudden the momentum changed and I took control of the match and I ended up winning that first match. Now, second match, I picked Jackie Lee and Johnny Clash picked Boris Chekhov. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. He wiped the floor with me. It was a bloodbath. It was awful. And he absolutely ruined me. He gave me so many big swings that threw me outside of the ring that I tried to keep count, but I lost count. So Johnny took the second match. Now, we are jumping right in to the third and final match. The deciding for the first week of November. I picked Rex Beat because I did very well in the first match. And Johnny stayed tried and true with his new strategy of if it's not broke, don't fix it.
And it was broke.
Boris Chekhov. And very similar to the second match that we had, but the shoe was on the other foot with this one. I absolutely steamrolled, John. It was a bloodbath. I felt kind of bad at the end. But your winner for week 1 of November, still working on that new nickname, but we're just going to go with the reigning, defending,
Nails
Clash at the Feast champion, George Feis.
Yay!
Can you
did it.
Can you actually play my music this week? Johnny Clash. It is now my favorite. This is now becoming my new favorite part. Second favorite part. Where I am going to give you 3 or 4 consoles. And you are going to pick what game we are playing next week based on the console.
Let's hear them.
All right. So your 3 options for this week. You can play on the SNES, the Game Boy, or the Neo Geo Pocket.
You've had the Neo Geo Pocket in there for like 3 weeks now, and I'm still not going to pick it.
It's 2 weeks in a row, but it's an interesting game, and it may be, to my knowledge, the last Neo Geo Pocket game. So,
all right, we haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm going to go with the Game Boy.
All right. Well, next week on the podcast, we are playing HAL Wrestling with the Game Boy. HAL. HAL.
Okay, I didn't know where that was going, and I still don't know.
So you'll know HAL as the people who make Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But HAL has been around for a long time, and they have a Game Boy game that was released in 1990 called HAL Wrestling.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's just sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
That was a good reaction.
I was hoping for like Mayhem or Attitude, but HAL Wrestling. Let's go.
No, we're going pepper in some. This was a big game this week. We'll pepper in some other stuff, and the next week we'll go back. The week after we'll go back to a big game. All right. You ready?
All right. Double play it forever. George wins Clash at the Feast. take us home.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week on the Game Marks podcast. Please check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/GameMarksPod. It is the best way besides listening to support the podcast, and be sure to follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. Leave us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to wherever great podcasts can be found. Wash your hands, wear your mask, be safe, social distance. Make sure that you're doing your part and helping us out with Gameboree. Very excited. Live stream incoming for Gameboree 2020. Say goodbye, Johnny.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future Endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks podcast every single Monday.